dance.
After nearly a decade, the Mercedes SL is back in India. The SL is arguably one of the most iconic sports car nameplates in the world, and it has some Indian history because the SL was available in India some time ago. The SL is now back as the SL55 AMG. It obviously gets an AMG motor, bi-turbo V8 engine, 469 bhp, 700 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 in 3.9 seconds, top speed of 295 kilometers per hour, and it has gone back to the soft top convertible, gone back to its legacy. But what is even more interesting about this launch are the historic SLs that are lined up here on the SL walk. So let me show you that, and then we'll come back to this new SL55 AMG. We have 6 generations of the SL out here. The SL lineage dates back to the 50s, and no better person to talk about the lineage than Adil Jal Darukhanawala, the foremost automotive historian in India. Adil, the history of the SL, it starts obviously with the gullwing. Everybody knows about the gullwing. It came from motorsport, right?
Yeah, Mercedes-Benz after World War II needed something to get back to its performance roots. So they took the old lumbering 300, which was a big cast iron engine and whatnot, and they say we need to clothe it in a sporty manner and go out and win races. So they created about 5 cars where it didn't have a gullwing door. It only had a flap window for the driver to enter, like how you'd see today's NASCAR guys getting. So those 5 cars were entered in the 1952 Le Mans 24 Hours, and that's when Mercedes-Benz won its first Le Mans victory. So it started from there. That thing caught on quite a lot. So they said that, and there was a clamor from the American dealerships that they wanted a car like that, which looked like that. So Mercedes-Benz came up with a much more domesticated, so to speak, version of the car. Very glamorous, typically well built like any Mercedes we have come to know. Proper gullwing doors, so from here they would swivel open. The car was an absolute hit. One more thing, in 1955, one of those cars took part in the Mille Miglia, won the GT class, destroyed the complete Italian opposition, Ferraris, Maseratis, Lancias, Alfas, everything. And about 1400 cars were built. That became the cult of the SL Super Light. It was a space frame chassis clothed with aluminum alloy, very, very light, and with that power to weight ratio, even with that engine sort of thing, gave it really great straight line performance, good handler, etc. The car was a little ungainly for many women to get in and out, so the Roadster was born. And I think from what we have read, the Roadster was a much better handling car, much more elegant and stylish looking car. Not that I'd take that over a gullwing if it's offered to me. And in India we have got just one 300 SL, which was bought again by a Maharaja who was steeped in performance and racing. So the Maharaja of Gondal came in with that, and he won a lot of races in India with that car.
So the SL was raced in India also.
Yes,
So
yes.
it has racing lineage right here in India.
Absolutely, there's no two ways about it. It's there in the book as well. So after that, we also needed a car which would be far more easier and accessible to many people with a slightly thinner wallet. So the 190 SL came in. Similar lines like the 300 SL Roadster, but slightly scaled down, but still a stunner to boot. And from that thing went on from there till about 62, 63 when Mercedes-Benz came up with the 230 SL. A complete departure from, in the design language, and the famous pagoda silhouette came into being.
So we have all that out here. And Adil, how does this, the 7th generation, the newest one, relate to the original car?
Simple things, Shirish. Look at the bonnet line. Look at the way the passenger compartment has been configured, and look at the tail. Well, it doesn't have, because they try to make it a 2+2. I don't think it works out. But the essence is that super light thing which we spoke about. Super light in today's contemporary things has got to be about also having a lot of safety. So even though it may have an aluminum alloy chassis and whatnot, it is super light given its super performance. But it cannot be super light like how the original term was there.
True.
Apart from that, This has got four-wheel drive. It has got four-wheel steering to
Yeah.
a certain degree. A lot more innovation, just like how Mercedes-Benz always used to be and is.
It has 4MATIC Plus, and 4MATIC Plus means it's got drift mode also.
Well, that's
So-
for you. I'd rather have a very sedate, enjoyable drive like I ride my motorcycles. I want to ride to savor the ride and the drive. You can, what you call, do your hooligan stuff later.
So let's go check out the other cars.
Let's go to do that. After the 300 SL, Mercedes-Benz needed to step up into the 60s from the 50s. And they needed to have a completely new design language for the SL. So in came a bit of straight lines, still a few curves, but more importantly, you had a long bonnet, you had an upright windscreen, and that gave rise to the pagoda phenomenon. Now this is, in this form, she looks great, but in the hardtop version, that's where the pagoda lineage started off, and the 230 SL was even more powerful and much more contemporary, given that it lost a few digits onto its designation from 300 to 230, but it was no slouch, and it remains one of the most glamorous early 1960s sports cars from any manufacturer. This is Mercedes-Benz return to power, that iron fist in a velvet glove sort of a thing, and this car really had one of the longest lifespans amongst the SL range. Plus, in its final avatars, these cars also were used by Mercedes-Benz in the World Rally Championship. Very heavy, very powerful. They ate their tires, but man, were there a spectacle to behold. And actually speaking, one of the most handsomest of sports cars of its era. The first SL to be sold in India by Mercedes-Benz India is the R230. And around about 2001 is when this silver projectile. And just look at that, a pronounced web shape, solid big haunches at the rear. This was a rorty car, and maybe I think Mercedes-Benz was trying to get back that essence of performance, yet keeping to its luxury and its dignified elegance image. This car had it all. When we speak about the love affair of Indians with the three-pointed star, love gets into its most sensual form when you look at this 230 FL, the facelifted 230, which came in. This is the SL 350, the earlier one we saw was the SL 500. But again, it is such a way that Mercedes-Benz has kept its two-seater sports cars fresh and alive by not tinkling too much with the basic long bonnet, short rear stature, and having enough of elegance to charm its basic clientele, and still go happy with performance-minded guys, because they also had an AMG version of this, which was sold in India as well. The R29 was a logical progression from the R107. And when you talk about it, this is where you suddenly started seeing social modes being much more important, even while having that same luxury, the performance. So you saw a lot of go safer bits on the car, but by and large, the poster boy image of the SL in contemporary form then was carried in a very, very dignified manner by this model. This is the R129 SL. There is a saying that Dil Chahta Hai is that film, quintessential film of friends and whatnot. But it works so very well with Mercedes-Benz, because so many Indians ka dil chahta hai that they have a Mercedes-Benz in their ranks. Well, I have got a lot of Mercedes-Benz SL model cars because that's what I can afford, and that's where the dil lies across over there. But this is the actual car from that movie where they went from Bombay to Goa or whatever. And it still is in a pretty good condition, given the fact that I don't think many Indian actors can really put the car through its paces, but it survived.
And those were the historic SLs. We are back with the new SL55 and we are with Santosh Iyer, the boss of Mercedes-Benz in India. Congratulations on the launch, Santosh.
Thanks, Sirish, for joining.
The SL55, why not the 63? Is it because of a longer waiting period for that?
Absolutely, hit the nail on the head. You know, we have those the G63 customers waiting for 2 years. Now to add a 63 and then keep customers waiting may not make sense. Also, if you look at technically, you know, there is a difference of 0.2 seconds when it comes to 0 to 100. And this is also a one-man, one engine. So we said it makes logical sense then to launch the car. And even before we announced, we have around, as I said, 30 odd customers, you know, who have been telling us whenever you launch, we want the car. So we have to fulfill it, and therefore I think 55 was a logical conclusion.
It's a decade since you had the SL officially on sale in India. Why such a long time gap?
Well, you know, this car has always been in demand in that sense. So, and we never had so razor-sharp focus on the top-end segment as such in the past, to be very candid. Today, with the entire focus on the top-end, therefore, be it a G-Wagon, be it a Maybach, or be it even now the SL, I think our discussions with our headquarters are also to get more cars to India, also ensure delivery timelines, and also we are fully committed to grow this segment. So, therefore, you can see this full focus this year. Out of the 10 launches, we said majority of them will be in the top end, and this is the 5th AMG we are launching this year.
Yep. So your Mercedes, the AMG business, what proportion of entire Mercedes sales is it right now?
So when I talk about top-end vehicles, we have AMG, Maybach, also the EQS there, and also the S-Class, all sitting as part of the portfolio. And today this entire chunk is close to 25% of our volumes, and that's substantial. And I would only say it's a nobody's guess, AMG will form a big part of the 25% of the volumes.
You are growing your AMG performance centers across the country?
We have 7 APCs across India in almost all the key markets. Now we are actually focusing, apart from the APC, also a dedicated super luxury teams. Not only AMG, because we are also seeing the AMG Maybach customers or families are same. They have a Maybach also, they have an AMG also. So then by dedicating to AMG may not be the best in some of the other markets. So maybe we won't grow on APC, we remain with the core 7 APCs, but in every franchisee, we are setting up dedicated you know, customer experience executives who will focus on the top-end vehicle segment.
Yeah. Also on the luxury segment with the Maybach, how is that market growing? Do you see the entire luxury car space in India growing in terms of volumes?
Frankly, I cannot comment on the total space because some of the data is not available also in the public domain, and also with Vahan, etc. we can try to decode. But when it comes to Mercedes-Benz, we clearly see there is a clear demand for the top-end vehicles. First quarter we grew by 17%. The second quarter we will give results in the first week of July. But the full year growth which should lead us to the best ever year. But I am not sure if the overall luxury car segment will also grow rapidly because there is a structural effect happening. You know, there is a lot of customers and that so-called entry level, we don't see the kind of growth happening what we have seen there, and predominantly the growth is coming on the top where we are capitalizing. That's how the structure is seen right now.
You're also capitalizing on price. You just launched the G400D, 1 crore price increase over the earlier 350D. Are customers okay with that big jump in prices that you are taking?
I would say all those earlier customers will get better prices than what they bought the car for, and I am sure even the current G400 customers, even whenever if they think of selling this car in 3 to 4 years, will get a better price. And that's the same for all these car lines. In fact, I am damn sure SL customers who have booked these 30 odd customers, I have not met them, but I am sure they are looking this as an investment and as a spend. And more I feel these cars are becoming now like watches. You know, the entry ticket is a problem. You pay the 15 lakh rupees, but then when you now, you know, if you want to exchange new watches, you have to pay the delta a lakh, 2 lakhs, or maybe even you may end up making money also. So you enjoy and then you are not spending or depreciating it fully. So price increase in that sense is good, but on the other side, to be very candid, it puts pressure on demand. Definitely, most of our prices have gone up over the past 2 to 3 years. But we are not shying away, and we don't have a strategy to come with a car now with stripped down and, you know, trying to give it a lower price point. We will continue content. We will actually add more content and make it, if it is there more expensive, so be it.
So now cars are no longer a depreciating asset. Cars are something that you enjoy, and then later on when you want to upgrade, you get a good value out of it also.
No, that's true. You see some of the, I recently saw 2 days back a classified ad by one of our dealers, an A-class, forget the top end. A 2-year-old A-class he has put at 44 lakhs. You know, we launched the A-class at 39.9, if you remember, and now of course the new A-class is at around 46, 47. And that's good, I would say. It helps the current customers, it also builds. But yes, maybe new customers coming in may find it expensive, but then it's a good content, good product, and I think that's our strategy clearly. Not focusing on volumes, but focusing more on growth of certain segments.
Final question, Santosh. You said that this year you're looking at making this your best ever year. What is the outlook in terms of new models for this year? How many are left? How many new models coming?
You know, for us now, even the best ever year, if we sell anything, even one unit better than last year, it will be the best ever year.
Sure.
Because last year we already have created new benchmarks. But the core KPI is on customer satisfaction. You know, we are driving the team on sales and service, even our partners, to see can it be the best ever year for customer satisfaction? How can we change the paradigm there? Because that's something a lot of work needs to be done. And I'm personally fully committed on this topic, that I think the next change in you know, the overall luxury landscape, more so when it comes to cars, you know, really deliver to the customer expectation. And there, I think the best ever year, for sure. This we will do our best this year, and there is a much more to do the next years.
All the best, Santosh.
Thank you.
All the best with the SL and obviously all your other upcoming models.
Thanks a lot. And I hope you enjoy whenever you are driving these cars.
Yeah, we are going to take
soon,
this,
huh?
and in fact, we are going to do a really cool story. We're going to find an old SL, one of the most iconic SLs in the country, and Adil and I are going to go on a road trip with this SL.
Outstanding. That sounds really
So
exciting.
I'm sure you will enjoy that video,
Sure,
and
thank
you
you.
guys stay tuned to the Evo India channel. Stay subscribed to the Evo India channel, because we have a really cool story coming up on the SL 55 AMG.